Hey everyone, it is Chris from Poolometry, and this is my promised follow-up video to the Power Brake project series that I've been doing. Finally, my stick has come in the mail. I have a brand new BK Rush with an extension shaft. I am very curious, is that going to allow me to take things even further? But first, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your interaction on my videos, on the threads on Reddit and comments on YouTube and stuff. I really appreciate your input, both positive and negative. You've really helped me think more deeply about what I'm doing here, and it's been a lot of fun to interact with your ideas. One thing I do want to remind you that in the Power Brake project, I am the project, right? I am trying to get my brake speed faster than it is, right? I'm trying to change up my techniques and my equipment to see what works the best for me using data. Whether my conclusions apply to your game, that's something only you can decide for yourself, but hopefully I've inspired you to consider a second look at the way you brake and maybe run some tests yourself. Now, while I've been waiting for this thing to come in the mail, I tested out this thing because of some of your feedback. A lot of you were suggesting that the Predator app was inconsistent, and I was curious myself. So I'm just going to do a quick brief overview of that, and then we'll get to the tests on the extension shaft. So what I did is download the app on another phone and compare them. Normally I work to be as robotic as possible, but here it didn't matter as much because I really was just seeing if the app recorded the same speed for the same shot. I'm not going to get too much into the details, but although they rarely spit out the exact same speed, both phones were usually within about 1/10 of a mile per hour. Whether the phone had a case on or not didn't seem to matter much, but the location of the phone did. When I put it closer to the rack, it regularly reported a touch faster speed, but not by much. In short, I don't think the app is perfect, but it is good enough for what we are doing here. But who cares about that? You are watching this video because you are also interested whether the extension shaft actually made a difference in my game. So here it is. This is all set up. I actually think it's really nice. I bought the matte black and it really complements the carbon fiber. So I am hoping this cue works out really nice. What I did is I took this cue at 3 different weights. Now to do that, I first had to take out all of the weights from the chamber. That put it about 18. Then I I loaded it up with weights and put the extension back on, and that brought it to 25 ounces. And then I took it off and I got somewhere in between. I think it was 21.5. So I mixed and matched those cues, and then I also did the same thing with the action cue that I've featured in the other videos. Now again, this has been a top performer in general compared to other cues, but I found I was also able to get the weight bolt out of this one, which brought it down to about that same amount. I put the weight bolt back in close to that 25, and then I actually took the elite bolt out, and that made this about 21.5 as well. So I had pretty much the same 3 weight categories, and what I did is I sort of interspliced them, so I didn't shoot one cue over and over again. I tried to mix and match them. I did 10 shots with each combination, and again, for the data, I'm only going to include the top 5 in order to rule out some of those mishits and assume that my top stuff is really what we're comparing. What is the best possible speed you can get with these cues? So let's check out the data. First, here are the speeds for the action cue at 3 weight levels. Once again, as in every test I have ever done, the heaviest version of a cue has always produced the top end results. In this case, by more than 1 mile per hour faster than that 18 ounce that is recommended by so many people. Next, here are the speeds for the BK Rush at 3 weight levels. Note that the 25 ounce cue, that's the extension version that I've been so looking forward to experiment with. But lo and behold, what do we have here? For the first time ever, the heaviest cue did not take first place. Now, for those of you who suggest I have cue bias, I think every bit of me kind of wanted this extension cue to win because I put a lot of money into it, but it didn't, and I don't care. I just want the best cue I can use. To be honest, having the extension shaft didn't produce the result I was hoping for in terms of my grip. When I held all the way back, it was pretty clear that my hand ended up where the joint is, and it ended up just like this spear in my hand, and it was very awkward. And even when I held sort of just where it meets the butt, I found that my bridge hand ended up in the part of the taper where it really flares out, and it ended up feeling awkward. It ended up feeling more like shooting with the oar to a rowboat or something. So I ended up still shooting sort of right around where the butt is for the end of the cue. So it functionally ended up maybe just being a little extra weight, but it was kind of awkward. And while I don't plan to use the extension on my brake stick, the good news is I can swap this whole system over to my shooting shaft, and when I want to skip the mechanical bridge, I have an option here to get a little bit extra length, albeit a very expensive option, but it does look pretty cool. And now the combined results here, and for the third time, the BK Rush at 18 ounces, that recommended weight, is equal to the Action Q at the heavier 24.5 ounces. They are producing about 18 miles per hour each, but I am smitten because all the way to the right, that BK Rush at around 22 ounces, which is the max you can load and actually get the cap on the back. I am now breaking over 19 miles an hour, still not in anywhere range of top breakers, but at least getting me somewhere near respectable compared to the 15, 16, 17 I had been doing earlier in my experimentation with technique and with brake cue equipment. So what's up next for me? Honestly, this is the end of the road of the brake project series. I have found what I think to be the best option for me. This is my 22 ounce BK Rush. I'm gonna load this thing in my bag and call it a day. What I really need to do now is actually slow down my speed and really give a hyper focus to trying to get the cue ball to stay center table after I have a brake shot. So that's gonna be what I'm doing personally, but I have no plans to document that. The Power Brake project is sort of an afterthought for me. I was collecting that data just for me for a long time, and only recently did someone suggest the idea to actually present it, that people might find it interesting. But my passion is actually for bank pool. I've been developing my own bank shot system called Aim with Speed for about 10 years. I've got one video out right now, my 4-railer, which some of you might have seen, but I'm about to turn my full attention to videoing all 25 bank shots that I have documented. Now, in the meantime, you can download my Aim with Speed manual if you're interested for free at poolometry.com and check out the kind of thinking I'm doing if you are interested. And soon, I'm gonna turn my full attention to my cross corner bank shot pattern so you can see how I shoot banks. It's a little different. I hope you find it interesting. I know it's changed my entire thinking around bank pool.